Hi, everybody. It's Megan Gill here, and I am Paint, Flowers, and More. Welcome. And so today I think we are going to paint a rose, or that's what I planned, but we're going to do it wet in wet, hopefully. So that's a new technique. We don't normally talk about it here. If you like what you're hearing and what you're watching, sign up for my newsletter down below or subscribe to my YouTube channel because I have these coming up every week, or I try to at least. So let's get started. So I had this idea, or I've been seeing it, where people are wetting this whole thing and then painting on it. And I've done that a time or two, but I've not done it ever this much. So let's talk about, I have a paper towel. I have my Koi watercolor set right over here. I have some water. I have a dry erase board, which is right here. And then I have my watercolor block. It's Fluid 100 6x8. I have a spray bottle right there. And then I have a couple of brushes. So I have a number 2 Simply Simmons. I have I don't know what this is. This is an Inscata. I think it's a number 6. I have a 1/4 inch Princeton Select Oval Mop. And then I have a quill brush, a number 4. Okay. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use this, but I might. So that's why we've got it here. But the first thing that I'm going to do is wet my paper. Now, the key to wetting your paper, if you wet just a piece of paper, it's going to buckle. But I'm on a block where it's all sealed on all sizes. So it shouldn't buckle for me. And I could take this paintbrush and do this, but I think I wanted to try it like this. So I am just going to spray some water. Now I'm going to take my quill brush and let's just pull it in here to see what this does. So this is pretty wet. It might be wetter than I wanted it to be. Okay, so I'm going to let it soak in just a little bit. I don't want it to be like super, super wet. So I have a puddle happening right around here. So I'm going to just take some of that wetness off. Basically what I'm doing, and I probably should have not done this with a quill brush. This is hurting my quill brush. Shouldn't hurt your quill brush. Quill brushes are kind of expensive. Okay, so here we are. The first thing that I'm going to do is to start some color. So over here, I'm going to get me a puddle of water. And the quill brush just holds so much water. It's so fantastic. All right, and so I'm going to pick some of this pink up and put it in here. Okay, now, I'll tell you this. It's a little difficult to do a quill brush in this little bitty palette. I'll be honest with you. I'd rather have a bigger one. Okay, so I'm getting some yellow or some pink here, and I'm going to start just putting a general shape of a rose. There's one, and here's another one. Notice it's just kind of big and bold. They're just blobs. That's all I'm going for right now, are blobs. Let's do this one over here. All right. Now, I want this one to come up. Let's make this the hero. Hero image is the bigger one. Small, medium, and large. Okay, so I am constantly wetting or drying this brush. I probably might need more than this. So as I do this, I'm going to take a dry brush now. So I'm going to take my dry brush and I'm going to come in here and suck it up. And I don't know if you can tell that. I'm doing a C stroke to see what this is doing. And now that needs to be a little darker in here. So before I do this, now I'll be honest with you, ladies and gentlemen, this might be one of my first times to do this. Again, I go back to, if the teacher always does, has practiced it a million times, you don't get to learn. So I'm learning. Now notice probably shouldn't have done that. I should have kept this a clean, dry brush. But I'm going to come in here and I'm going to just put some darker stuff in the middle. I feel like the middle just did not have enough drama. So I have that. This is bowing just a little bit. So I'm going to pull it up. You kind of have to, I don't know, what's the word for it? I'm going to make another color here. So this is a peach color. And then I'm going to get my pink and I'm going to put it together. That's pretty. Okay. So I'm going to take some of that and I'm going to put that over here. See what happens. And I'm going to put that in here. Okay. While I'm here, I like what's going on here. let's go ahead and dot some. Okay. Now, this is still wet. It's still bleeding and everything. So that's working for me. I'm going to pinch this to make it dry. And I'm going to come in and do little C's and take out some. Now you'll notice that it's kind of hard to see. And I think that's because this isn't dark enough yet. So maybe the actual way is that this needs to be darker before you go and do that. Now, since I've already started with this one, do you see how when I do that, it's going in between where I have it dry? It's showing those up like instantly. Isn't that neat? Okay, that reason that's happening is because I'm now going to add a couple of these strokes here. Is that wet goes where wet is. If it was dry, it would not go there. Now, this could turn into a disaster. I just want y'all to know. That's what's so fun about watching this, right? Is that you have no idea what's going on. Now, this one, because it's buckling, is going to be an interesting little dude. He is not going to be my friend, I don't think. Okay, so I'm going to make a little bit more of this peachy red color because I really like it. All right, and I'm going to come in here and add some to it. Now, there's a million of these videos on YouTube, and I just like to play with them. Like, let's just watch them. Let's just see what happens. All right, now that's looking like a square. Do you see this square? Ugh, not good. So I'm just going to come in and see if I can't make some more circles or more. Now, see, I like the fuzziness of this one. This one's coming together. So I'm going to just come in and see if I can't add. Now, the question is it's not drying very much. It's staying very wet. Now, that's two reasons. One, I probably might have wetted it too much. Second, I also may have, like, the paper is a good paper. And so if the good paper is a good paper, it won't, what's the word? It will hold the water instead of, letting it soak in. So that's actually a good sign. Now, so this is a little disaster happening here. So I'm going to come in here and let's see if I can't take some out. And I'm getting a terrible glare here. What's interesting is that the more I add these little, I see it on my screen, but seeing it up close is just, that was a technical term. Okay, so it's coming together. I'm seeing it. So I'm going to add some green so I can frame these. So what I have learned is that if you have something pretty or light, you want something dark beside it. So let's go make some dark green. So I'm going to come in here. I'm starting with a puddle. This is my method. Start with a puddle. It's supposed to be a clean puddle. That's not clean, but here we go. And then I'm going to take some green and add it to my puddle. Ooh, I like it. It looks a little blue on screen, but so if that's the case, let's add a little bit of yellow to it. So I'm going to add this goldy color. Yeah, there you go. That's pretty, 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 pretty. Okay, so now let's add some pretty leaves. Now, this is still should be a little wet. We're about to see how wet it is. Okay, so I'm going to come over here and add. Now, it stayed in that little position, so it might be not wet enough, but that's okay. Okay, and let's do some right in here. Well, that color was pure color right there. And let's do some right in here. All right, looking pretty good. Let's do some. Now, do y'all see how I do that? I'm holding it pretty high up on my brush, and I'm using the side of my brush. And I'm just trying to get some green in there. Because the more green I have around here, the more these pop out. Now, I've done this part. I think I'm going to go in with more of a yellow green. So right on top of these, I'm going to come in and have a friend next to it. So, Bob Ross always had tree friends. Let's have some leaf friends. I'm not exactly totally excited about this yet. But, it's always a work in progress. I think I'm going to do. All right. Getting there. I like that. This is. So here's what's going to happen with that. I'm going to suck some of that out because I don't want it really in my pretty flower. So let's just see if we can't suck that out and see if we can't fix that. Okay, so looking pretty good here. And I have no idea how long this video is going to be because hopefully it won't be too long. I'm going to get me some darker red here. This is more of a crimson. And I'm going to come in here and do a few little dots. Okay, and what this is doing is making it darker in the center, right? Looking okay. Now, I have that. I'm going to wet my brush. So I just wet my brush. I didn't go for more paint. This is what the paint was that is in it, but it's definitely, and I'm going to see if I can't, on some of these that are already dark, touch them to see if I can't accent them just a little bit more. All right, let's do that over here now. I'll have to say, roses and flowers I love them. But doing different styles of them definitely takes practice. So that's one thing. I have learned this though. They're mostly darker in the middle, and then they get bigger. They're tighter in the center, and then they get bigger as they go. So that means that these swooshes back here need to get lighter and bigger. So that's kind of why I'm just letting those hang out and I'm really focusing in the middle. Now these are really tight and not liking it too much. So I'm going to go change to my 2 and let's see if I can't pull some of this out. So what I'm doing is I'm coming in and I'm just rubbing a little bit in here so I can move it around. Not bad. All right, but what I'm going to do now is come in with some pink and I'm going to come in and really start going darker with the edge of some of these petals that I've got going on here. Do you see how I'm making these edges? Okay, now here's the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some water and in certain places I'm making those just a little bit wider and darker because I want them to go deeper. Okay, so let's do this on this side. So I'm going to come in here and really come in. They are jackhammering across the street, and it is so annoying. So loud. All right, now I'm liking what's happening with this one. This one so far might be my favorite. You have a favorite yet? I like this one. This one's coming along nicely. You know what I like about this one? It's the different colors. I like the fact that it's orange. And I like the fact it's really nice and fuzzy. Now, I have noticed that when doing these, and I'm going to be honest with you, these are going to take a little bit of work for me to, but I wanted them loose and I wanted to see how it was going to do. So I'm going to let that sit and I'm going to go back to my green. And so let's go back to my green and I'm going to make some pretty blue-green leaves. All right, and so we're going to start in the deep crevices and pull them out. And that's helping this look pretty good, looking better. So the key to this is that you keep working. I have found that when you're a newbie, that you quit too soon. Don't quit. You got to keep going. All right. Now, as you can tell, I'm adding some more colors to this. Makes it more interesting. The good thing about leaves is that you can pretty much do whatever you want to. You see how I'm just kind of adding them in? And at this point, we just need to add some color in here beside these flowers. And you see how that popped them out? Okay, now I'm not in love with these, but here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get even darker in the center. All right, so I'm going to take some purple this time. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit of that blue-green with the purple, and I'm going to add it right there. I like it. And I'm going to take it and be right there. All right, we're getting there. Now, the problem with this one is I'm trying to shape this little bud here. You see how I'm trying to make it go down. Now let's do this one. Looks like it's pointing this way. So let's make some more like that. How does that go? Well, it's going pretty good. It's getting there. Now, you're witnessing me hate this and then getting it better. So what are we learning here? You got to keep going. Okay, so for this one, and it's also a lot about lights and darks, right? That if you don't have lights and darks, I mean, would you put green inside a rose? No, but it's making these darker. And that's what we needed for this little spot. I'm not happy with this one at all. So what can we do to make it better? So a couple things. One, I think that these white things are too much. So what if we added some more of different color? All right, let's get a bigger brush and let's put them in here. Now let's look at, okay, does that help this anymore? Maybe. Let's get some water on our brush now and see if we can't pull some of it. Okay, getting a little dark though. I've lost my white. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dry this off. I'm going to dry this one off and see if I can't pull some of this out. Now this is wet on wet. That's why this is a different exercise. Okay. What do y'all think? Is it getting better? Kind of. Now, I kind of like it when those petals have a little definition to them. So you're seeing a glare there. Is that better? Not really. This one is really nice. I kind of like it. Now this one down here, I'm going to come in and pull. All right. So I think what's happening is, first of all, when you do these, they don't all have to be winners, okay? I think that's also something when, like, people come to classes and what am I supposed to do with all these? You're supposed to put them in a folder. You go, look what I learned today. You don't frame everything. Did you frame everything that your kid did in school? No. Some of the stuff deserves to be thrown away. Now, I'm not saying throw this away. I'm just saying that you don't have to keep everything. It's not what this is about. It's about the process. It's about learning. Now, you won't believe what I'm about to do. What do you do when you add green and red or pink together? This is getting very purpley because I started with more of a blue. But if I added that in here to these dark leaves, does it make the edges of them pop out? Like, does it make it go in a little bit? It does, doesn't it? All right, so what did we just learn? We learned that if you add a complementary color to one of your colors, it makes it darker. Okay? And then when you make it darker, it's making it pop up and then making it look like it's moving. I like it. Now see, that's too much. That was way too dark on that light. So technically this purple should have been lighter. But look, if I make that with water that worked really nice. So you got to keep going. Now, I will tell you, I really do I want to probably add more white to this. And I've kind of ruined this white. That's part of the deal. All right, I'm going to add a little bit. Yeah, I'm making those little noises. Okay. Now, I really like lines, but I wanted this to be soft. So technically, I should probably stop right now. But I love to outline things. And some people could say that I'm using this outline as a crutch. Yeah, probably I am. But is anybody screaming, going, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? You can't put black in that." Oh, but I can. I don't like it, do you? That's the cool thing about these, is that I don't have to like everything that I do. It used to be that way. But if you get that way, you don't ever learn. Because imperfect stuff is what makes you better. All right, now I really don't want to use this. This one worked really nice. I was very happy with it. One of the things that I think I liked about it was how light and airy it was. And maybe this got too dark. It's very possible. All right, so if you liked this, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel just to see how I'm doing here. And you can also subscribe to my newsletter. That's always fun because I do teach around town. And I will see you next week. Who knows what will happen? Do you see how when I'm loosening up, this is totally changing? I really like how it's getting there, but it's taken me giving up and going, okay, we're just going to have some fun here. I was really kind of tight when I wanted to be loose, and that was holding me back. And then when I was like, you know what? Let's just do what you love. Let's just go for it. It's getting there. Okay. So if you liked this Paint Flowers and More today, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have them coming up every week, and sign up for my newsletter. I'll talk to you next week.